Chicago, where the fire serve cold, but the Wolves and the Hawks never shiver in the snow. The Bulls keep it running, the Sox run the South, the Cubs run the North, but the Bears run the house. True Chicago sports fans got their ears to the street. Any team make a move and they never skip a beat. And in this house, this is where we be. Welcome to the show with E-Roc and Big-Z.
Welcome to Chicago, coming from the True Chicago Sports Fan Cave. This is the TCSF podcast with your host, E-Roc and Big-Z.
Yeah.
Episode 15 is brought to you by Noir, Ceasar, Villain Radio Studios, and Grit Clothing Company.
Yes, sir.
This week we have a superstar lineup. In 3 and Out, our weekly Bears analyst, Il Brown, gives us his X's and O's on the Bears game versus the Carolina Panthers. And we look ahead to Monday Night Football against those pesky Los Angeles Rams.
That's right.
Hope they ram their head into a loss. And I'm super excited about our special guest this week.
Yeah.
Ozzie Guillen Jr.,
Wow.
son of the 2005 World Series champion manager of the White Sox.
Nice.
Ozzie Jr., along with his dad and his brother Oni, are the stars of Being Guillen on LaVidaBaseball.com. He would join us later to discuss the White Sox and talk to us about the Ozzie Guillen Foundation. Let's go!
Yeah.
But first, this is The Loop, our Chicago Sports Roundup, where we keep you in the loop.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago.
What's up first, E-Roc?
Yo, we got the Cubs and their marquee network. They have a partnership going on with the Chicago Bears.
Really? So now they have the Bears and the big brother, the Cubs, on.
That's right.
Or is it backwards?
No, because that's where the Cubs got their name from. The Cubs actually came from when the Bears used to play at Wrigley Field. Mm-hmm. And they says, the Bears or the Cubs are just smaller version of the Bears, so they actually call them Cubs. That's really where the name came from.
So.
And here's the other thing too. If you didn't know, the Bears colors came from the University of Illinois.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
Look at
see?
that. Look at that. You're just full of tidbits there.
That's right. So anyway, yeah, the Bears and the Marquee Network, they have a partnership. It's going to start soon. They have a weekly show. It is going to be called Bear Essentials. It's going to air every Tuesday evening, and you're going to have your host, Cole Wright. He used to be on the NFL Network.
Okay.
So he'll be the host of the show, and you're going to have some Bears personnel and some analysts.
Oh, sounds good.
And then you're also going to have a 2-hour director's cut of the re-airing of the most recent Bears games. And the only problem is that you are going to have some blackouts. Anyone outside the Chicagoland, Rockford, or South Bend area will not get to view this programming.
Well, that sucks for everybody else, but good for us. Sorry. Not so sorry.
All right, what's up next?
The Bulls. Some small news here. The Chicago Bulls coach Billy Donovan shook up his staff.
He did.
Letting go of his assistants, Karen Stack Umlauf?
Umlauf, yeah.
Yeah, okay, got it right. Yes, first try. Dean Cooper, and there's another Cooper we'll mention in a bit. Mm-hmm. Nate Losner, thank you so much. Mm-hmm. And Roy Rogers. I mean, wasn't he? Yeah, he's a Cowboy.
Yeehaw.
I got his trading cards for some reason.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, he let him go all on Monday.
Yeah.
And Monday was a very busy day for the Reinsdorf teams.
Well, they ain't got nothing else going on. They might as well.
All right, he was going out with the Blackhawks.
So
this week,
Blackhawks. So on Monday, on Columbus Day, Indigenous People Day.
Yeah, we don't say that no more.
Whatever we're calling it right now, officially in the government. Right now, this week, the Blackhawks anniversary sculpture outside the UC. It was covered in graffiti and red paint. Obviously, in a protest. We kind of went over this before.
Yeah.
I get it. I get that it can be offensive. The Blackhawks symbol, their logo, is a tribute. It is not meant to be offensive. It is nowhere near the reason why they changed the name of the Washington football team in the NFL.
No.
That was extremely offensive. It talks about the skin color of a certain people. This is completely different. There's a different thing that's going on here. Okay,
Yeah,
I get it, but come on, guys.
This is overkill. If you're not knowledgeable about the history of the Blackhawks, you're taking matters into your own hands without knowing the actual story behind the actual name of the Blackhawks, why they're named that, because of the tribe that was in the area of the Chicagoland area.
Yes,
and it honors their chief. So
we don't want to get political on the show whatsoever. You can call it politics. You can call it whatever you want. Just understand that this is meant to honor the tribe and not to degrade them.
Right. All right. Moving on. The other team that the Rhinesaurs own, the good boys in black, the White Sox.
The Pale Hose.
The Pale Hose, that's right. They, quote, unquote, mutually agreed to part ways with both Ricky Renteria and Don Cooper.
Yeah, but I think...
Pause.
I think something else really happened there.
They got fired. And they pooped their bag this season at the end of August and beginning of September. And you know what? You got what you deserve. See ya. Thanks for everything. We'll see you later. Yeah. All right. So we've both been calling for the firing of Renteria, and we got what we wanted. All right. We had our fans reach out to us and said, "Hey, you guys called it." Yeah, we did.
Yep.
There's tons of reasons why. Coop was with the pitching coach for about 18 years. I think it was your organization for about 23.
It's too long. I mean, at some point, the voice just gets stale in the room.
Cooper, 18 years with the White Sox, 23 in total. But it was time to go.
It's just time.
His message was falling on deaf ears. He made some comments that should not have been said this past year. And you know what? That's all I'm going to say about that.
Look, Rick Hahn is doing a great job.
Yes, he is.
And what happened with him?
Rick Hahn was awarded the Executive of the Year by Sporting News.
Nice.
Yeah, but wait. There's more.
There's more.
Oh, yes, sir. Jose Pito Abreu and Tim Anderson named All-Stars by Sporting News as well. No other first baseman or shortstop received any votes.
Man, look, we've talked up and down about what's been going on with this squad. You got a couple of guys that are starting to move into what you want to call veteran territory.
Yes.
Doing a great job.
I mean, you got Jose Pito, who's an MVP candidate. He should win it. We'll see. Yeah. We'll find out in the next couple days.
It sounds like he's getting awards all over the place.
That's right. Jose Pito Abreu was also named Player of the Year by Sporting News, and he was awarded the Hank Aaron Award. This is given out to the most outstanding regular season offensive performer.
Now the only award that we're missing is one more.
MVP.
MVP-to.
That's right.
MVP-to.
All right. What else you got on the other side of the town?
So we're going to slide over to North Bend, or South Bend.
South Bend. You got to take that train down
North
there.
Bend.
Yeah,
we're going to move over to South Bend, Indiana. We're going to take a quick look over here what happened with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and their game against the Louisville Cardinals. It was an ugly game. Notre Dame did pull it out 12-7.
Baseball score.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, it was bad. I didn't get to see the whole game. I'm watching clips here, but they struggled at the end of the first half to get a touchdown.
Was there a blizzard or something going on?
Like, it was fourth down. They couldn't convert. They just kind of went back and forth, considering like how they were able to score the previous week. It just wasn't pretty. You did have a standout again, Kyron Williams. 25 carries, 127 yards. Ian Book looked very pedestrian, 11 for 19, 106 yards. It was blech.
It was an ugly game. It was an ugly game.
Ugly. I mean, it's one of those games you take a win, but Notre Dame is probably going to still be ranked number 4, but you're in a league with the ACC with Clemson. Clemson scored 73 points against Georgia Tech, and that's why they're number 1.
If they play each other, it's gonna be like a Tecmo Bowl game.
It's gonna be ugly, and you have 2 players on Clemson. You have Trevor Lawrence, and you have Etienne, who came back to play their senior. Etienne came back to play his senior season, and they're gonna smoke Notre Dame because now they're in the ACC too.
Yeah,
that's gonna be ugly. So I mean, when that game comes on, you will find me watching something else because I don't want to watch my team.
You're going to be in that fetal position.
Yeah, right. I've seen the Bears do it enough. So, yeah, that's what I got for our little college town in South Bend, Indiana there.
All right, everybody, that's the loop. The doors are closing. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. to Chicago.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh gear from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create simple, classic clothing that represents their Southside Chicago lifestyle. With products like hats, t-shirts, hoodies, and glassware, Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% to your entire order. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15. Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fans Podcast with E-Roc and Big-Z.
Yeah.
Are you ready for some football?
Always, brother.
It's time for some Bears talk. This is 3 and Out.
All right. What do we got today? I mean, we looked at the Bears. We watched the Bears game. We were excited. We were frustrated. But let's start with the offense. Do we know how to run the ball? Come on.
I don't think so.
I don't think we know how to run the ball. 19 carries for 58 yards for Mr. Montgomery. That is not enough. We talked about it last episode. We said, feed him more.
Feed me.
Yeah, I mean, 58 yards is more than he's had.
Yeah, I should have bet that today. I think the over and under was under 50 yards or something like that. But Either way, it's not enough. It doesn't balance the offense.
Right.
I'm not sure how many weeks we've talked about it or emphasized it on this show, but we got to get Matt Nagy to listen to the show.
Let me give you some comparison, though. We had Montgomery with 19 carries for 58 yards.
Yes.
And a long of 12 yards.
Mm-hmm.
We had Mike Davis, former Bear, former part of Run DMC, which never happened. 18 carries, 52 yards. He did have a touchdown, technically. But again, a long of 12.
But we have a way better defense than Carolina does, so we should have rushed a lot more. All right?
Hey.
Right. There's no reason, and this is one of my main points. There's no reason that on 3rd and 2 with the clock running and we're trying to not let them get the ball back.
Yep.
There's no reason that we're passing the ball on 3rd and 2.
Yep.
Run the damn ball.
Nagy's getting cute.
You got to run the clock. And 15 seconds off the clock on that possession, that's horrible. Horrible.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's transition to the quarterback there. Foles.
Yeah.
I mean, Foles is still in the house and everything, but you know what? He looked very average. 23 for 39, 198 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He had a delay of game coming out of a timeout.
Yeah,
that was frustrating.
In the first quarter, you right after a timeout, you come back and you have a delay of game when you're trying to.
Unacceptable.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, you're not in high school ball where you don't know what's going on.
Right.
You come out of a timeout, which you already know what the play is going to be. Quarterback comes in, reads the coverage. I get all that, but there's 35 seconds on the clock, right? I mean. Yeah. You've got enough time to do all this stuff, all right? So he gets a delay of the game.
It doesn't, I mean, we're going to see overthrows, which you're going to see on any quarterback. So, I mean, he did have a couple overthrows.
Yeah, and I told you, I was like, did they sub Mitch back in? Because there's a bunch of overthrows here.
There was a few Mitch throws that Nick Foles was out there doing. So
yeah, I mean, he did target Mooney 5 times, which is an increase this year. I mean, he is your number 2. Let's stop fighting it. He's your number 2, all right? And he did hit Komet twice, 1 for a touchdown.
Yes, sir. Yes,
sir. Two is not enough either, man.
There was a Cole Komet sighting. Komet got his first NFL touchdown in the first quarter. There was some confusion because we kept seeing Jimmy Graham come in and out and on and off the field during that first offensive series. But then here comes my boy Komet with the route that Jimmy normally gets. Mm-hmm. And my homie from Notre Dame finally gets involved in the scoring.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see the kid get some actually plays. We talked about it. We went live earlier today, and
correct.
We said, we got to get touches to the running back, and we got to get Komet some touches. He's a big boy that can catch. You brought him here for a reason. He's a 2nd-round pick. You're wasting his talent.
I mean, it was good to see him finally get on the field. They did do a good job today. Jimmy Graham had the 2nd highest amount of targets with 8. Mm-hmm. And the Bears did a good job today of spreading out the ball. 5 different players with at least 3 targets. And Foles did a great job of looking for the second option when the first target wasn't available.
What about that defense,
Yo. Bears defense starting the game off right. Tayshaun Gibson with the INT off of the deflection to start the game deep in Panthers territory. It turned into that touchdown, Cole Kmet touchdown for the Bears. They absolutely mauled little teddy bear Bridgewater in the first series, and it looked like they had a safety, but the refs saw it differently.
I mean, Bridgewater was underwater.
Oh.
I mean, he was drowning. Let's be honest about that. And that should have been a safety. I'm sorry. The defensive player grabbed him at the goal line, and then
he was in the end zone.
Yeah, he was. And then at the end, he was in the end zone. I mean, sorry.
I mean, they, you saw the players with their hands above their head, doing the little baby shark movement.
That's right,
and they all did it. Yeah, man.
Baby shark, do 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 do, baby shark, do 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 do.
Yeah, he was definitely that was definitely a safety, and either way we did score. But I hate when the refs shouldn't take off points off the board for us.
No.
All right, Kyle Fuller again proves to be a full-grown man.
I'm a man.
That's a full-grown man right there, okay?
Yes, sir. The refs and the NFL dropped the ball on this one. He had a clean hit. It was shoulder to shoulder.
Yes.
They threw a flag in there. The ball was deflected. I mean, I think it came out, right?
Yeah.
And the Bears did pick it up. So that could have been a game changer right there. That could have gave the Bears the momentum to blow them out.
Absolutely. I mean, I felt like this is going to be a blowout game the way the defense came out on fire.
Yeah, but the refs thought it was flag football.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Now, we're used to, I mean, if you watched our video earlier, you saw my boy Big-Z wearing that old 85 Bears.
Yes, sir.
He got the sweater.
Bears.
He got the sweater on. I wore my Ditka glasses. He had the 85 Super Bowl Bears hat on. And we did our whole The Bears impression up there. But, I mean, we're used to that old school football where you can get the snot knocked out of you and you get up and keep playing. So,
Man down! We got a man down!
when we talk about that kind of football, the linebackers were out here doing work again. Roe Smith with 7 solo tackles, Trevathan with 6 solo. He looked a little slow, so they kind of moved Roe in his spot. So they kind of, saw a little bit of movement, but linebackers look good. Mac Attack is back with another sack.
That's what we call a sack lunch!
That's right. Return of the Mac is still here.
That's right. He add on another sack from Bilal Nichols in that first quarter. That's the one that looked like that safety, which should have been. And don't forget the interception that sealed the game at the end. DeAndre Houston Carson with that interception on the first pass from Bridgewater after the Bears did not convert on that third down at the end of the fourth quarter.
Called it.
That's the one that you called, and
That's right.
That's when they should have ran the ball. This should have never been this shouldn't have happened in the first place.
No.
Because they
If you
should have
run
ran
the
the ball.
yes.
You get that first down, you got to worry about it. But guess what? To give the ball back to the little teddy bear, first pass. What did you say?
I said it's going to be an interception.
And what happened?
Interception.
That's right, baby. He called that interception. I was like, yo. I said, man, I wish we were recording that.
Yeah, I wish we did record that.
I wish we were recording that. Back to the Future. Go put some shekels on this one.
Yeah, we should have put some money on that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But to just give a little extra point there, I mean, excuse my pun, Cairo Santos went 3 for 3, and he hit that 55-yard field goal. I mean, that was impressive.
We haven't seen a kicker kick a field goal that long.
Gold?
Since Robbie. I mean, I don't think we
Kevin
ever...
Butler?
You did. I think you did ask me if Butthead was the guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look, overall, we saw the Bears start and end the game
with a lead.
With an interception, sir.
Oh, that too.
You start the game with an interception, you finish the game with an interception. And like we were talking about before with our boy, Il Brown, what did he say? A little bit of lovey.
A little bit of lovey,
That's
man.
a lovey philosophy right there.
Sprinkle a little bit of lovey there.
All right, y'all. Let's punt it over to our boy for fourth down. Il Brown. He's going to give us his good, bad, and ugly. What up, Will? How's it going?
What's up, man? Another Bears win, 5-1, looking good. No complaints on my end. Well, it's always complaints, but
there's always going to be complaints. Got a lot to clean up. 5-1, but we still got a lot to clean up.
All right, man. So what's your good for us this week?
Okay, so the good. Oh man, I'm jumping right on you guys' back, man. Defense. Where we at? 30% on third downs for the Panthers. 4 sacks, 3 takeaways, 2 picks, a forced fumble. Eddie Jackson laying the wood on Mike Davis.
Oh my God. Yes.
You know
And then not getting his second pick 6 of the year or his first pick 6 because since they took it away from him again.
Oh, the league, man, league office, y'all owe Eddie Jackson 12 of them things right now, man. Y'all owe him 12 of them things right now. Come on with this Come on with these flags, man. Come on. It's ridiculous.
So I'm gonna lead you right into our bad then.
Let's do it. The bad, of course. Can't run the ball, man. We cannot run the ball, man.
So is this an offensive line thing or is this play calling?
You know what? I just feel like they won't fully commit to the run, and strategically, it's starting to be a dead giveaway when the Bears actually do run the ball. So especially on rundowns where you have to have it, teams already know what's happening, man. Like they
stack the box.
Yeah, they have their most successful run plays off the zone read, where it's still zone read is still RPO. You know what I mean? So they're having some success out of that. Just stick with that, man, because when we get in the I formation, when you bring 3 tight ends in a game, everybody knows what's going on.
Oh my God, that was bad.
Like now,
here's the thing, though. If
an offensive guru, man, like
What is his deal?
I know what's going to happen when you bring in 3 tight ends.
with the I formation, you're basically saying this is our strong formation, right?
Yeah.
So you should be able to block on offense. You got an extra blocker with your fullback, which is going to typically be your tight end, your like 4th tight end or whoever, Jesper Horsted or whoever the hell it was. I don't even remember who it was. Their other Ivy League tight end. You're going to tell me you can't pick up a couple yards on it? You're going to tell me that you cannot punch it into the end zone off the 2-yard line?
You gotta anticipate that rush.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you that. and I'm going to tell you why I'm going to tell you that, man, because we truly don't have the personnel to run block. Yeah. And that's Matt Nagy's fault. Like every year there's cap room available. There's good run blocking interior linemen available. And we're content with going with a pass first approach. However, we don't have the quarterback to make the pass first approach tire out the defense the way a Kansas City does, or other high power offenses does, where we may be throwing it more, but we're throwing it way better. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're dinking and dunking, man. Like our passing game is a glorified running game. So
yeah, we don't have a quarterback right now with a cannon.
No, it's like we're back to the Kyle Orton era.
That's exactly what this feels like. Like it feels like the Kyle Orton era, man. 3 yards.
It really does, because when you look at how good the defense looks and you look at how average the offense looks, that's exactly right.
Yeah, we are in the glorified Kyle Orton era right now, of course.
I'll tell you what, though, I was almost surprised just watching the way that the offense runs. I was almost surprised that they were able to get that touchdown in the first quarter at the beginning of the game. I was like, well, here comes a field goal.
Yeah. I was very surprised we were able to convert that, man. But schematically, man, if they're gonna, you got a good offensive line coach, one of the best in the business, but you're not giving him a chance to even prove his worth, man. Like we're throwing the ball in situations where no other team in the league is going to throw the ball, man. It's just an ego thing at this point, if you ask me.
So the one good thing is that I'll say is that we saw them for the 3rd week in a row hold a team in the teens.
Under 20, yeah.
In the teens,
20.
We got 19, 19, and 16 today. Yeah. So I mean that's
you should be winning. That's what they are right now.
That's exactly right. So
winning ugly.
The good thing is that they're actually winning these games, and it's not like the defense is going out there playing maximum effort, and the offense is losing it for them.
Right, exactly. Like the defense is setting the table. So, Nick Foles is definitely going to be able to do enough to win. And I think that's the difference between like what he brings to the table as far as Mitch. He's, Nick Foles is streaky. You know what I mean? But when he's on, he's really on. Like there was a couple of times even today where, he's 7 for 7, like in a row.
This is the thing with Foles is that his ceiling
is so high.
His ceiling is much lower than Trubisky, but his floor is much higher.
Indeed.
That's the difference between Mitch and
That's the
Foles.
opposite, yes.
Yeah.
So and when everything I heard about Mitch when they drafted him is like his ceiling was so high, but the problem is his floor is so low. So now they got the guy that will never be that great, but never be that terrible, and that's exactly what they need to be able to win games.
Good old. If you wanted a top 15 quarterback, you got him, but he's definitely number 15.
Right.
Middle of the pack as it gets. You know what I mean? And that's cool, man. If that's what I'm me personally, I don't think you bring in a Matt Nagy for that. We could have hired anybody for that type of production. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Well, that's a good segue to give us your ugly.
It's still Matt Nagy, man. This is what, like 3 weeks in a row for me, Matt Nagy.
Color me shocked.
Be you, man. Be you.
Oh,
3 weeks in a row for Matt Nagy, man. Like at one point, man, are you gonna hand over the clipboard? That's where I'm at with it now. Hand over the clipboard, man. Like at this point, you're a good motivator. You know, the team will run through, stick their head in the propeller for you and all that cool stuff. However, what you're calling is not effective at this point, man. And you could even tell that, Nick Foles and him are getting to exchanges on the sideline because he's like, come on, man. Like, I've been here before. Like, let's open it up a little bit. You know what I mean? And it's just, I don't know,
even
man.
Foles can tell how predictable it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I think one thing I put in my notes, and I want to say this. The offense has taken a step backwards, not only because of of course, the play calling and the quarterback production. It's Anthony Miller.
Right.
All training camp, he was supposed to be, he had the best camp. He's going to tear it up this year. He had, 2 catches for 8 yards today?
Yeah, at least he caught the ball.
Yeah, at least he caught it today. At least he caught it.
Miller, that's correct.
That's not going to cut it, man.
He only had 3 targets.
Like they're
not targeting him anymore.
These are second-round picks that are flaming out, man. Guys like him, guys like Shaheen, and you can't have that, man. Like I draft a receiver with my second-round pick. I at least need good number 2 production or at least slot production out of him.
They're not targeting him anymore because Mooney had 5 targets today.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Miller had 3. Miller caught all 3 of his targets for the first time in a while.
Yeah. Maybe that's something the offense needs to explore a little more, man. Maybe we need to feature Mooney in the slot more. E-Roc saw a lot of double coverage today.
Yes, he did.
I'm starting to get afraid that he's not going as hard as well, man, because he needs to get paid, man. He's like top 3 as far as catches and come on, man, let's pay that guy. Let's get him locked back in because at this point, it's just foolishness by the front office.
He definitely needs to get paid.
Yeah.
All right, Il Brown. Give us your offense, defense, and coaching grade.
Okay, let's get it going, man. So offense, let's start there. Offense gets a C+ from me, man. Way too many opportunities left out there on the field.
Average.
Lots of red zone opportunities we couldn't convert. C+, got to get better. That's not going to cut it. Defense is so good. It's at the point it's bailing out the offense. Let's go defense.
That's Bears football.
Let's go defense, man. Defense gets an A+ today.
Absolutely.
Everybody came in, picking the Carolina Panthers. Mike Davis this and Bridgewater is top 5 passer in the league. That man, they made Mike Davis look like Mike Davis. And they made and Teddy Bridgewater was the bridge is over. The bridge is over. The bridge is over. Bye-bye. You know what I'm saying? He looked like a jobber. He looked like Henry Burris today. That's a blast for the past right there.
That's
he
right.
Like Henry Burris. Shout out to Henry Burris, man. No disrespect, but you jumped in the time machine and hopped in Teddy Bridgewater's jersey today. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Defense A+, linebackers pass rush, secondary Jalen Johnson. No, stop picking on our rookie, man. He was playing ball today, and the refs kept bailing him out, man. He was playing ball today.
Yes.
Cut that out.
That's the league. That's NBA does the same thing. That's just how they treat rookies.
Yeah, they're gonna give him the business this season, but he's holding his own, man. Shout out to Jalen Johnson, man.
So I think I know what you're gonna say here, but what's the number one thing the Bears need to clean up?
Number one thing the Bears need to clean up. And I'm gonna throw a curveball here. It's not on the field, man. It's not on the field. It's in the front office. It is in the front office, man. They need to take the clipboard from Matt Nagy, from Ryan Pace. I'm coming downstairs like, look, man, I'm glad to still have a job. But I kind of want to keep it that way. I need you to hand Bill Lazor the clipboard because you're going to get both of us fired at this point, man, if you keep calling the games like that. Help me help you. Hand him the clipboard, man.
It's like he's like, here's all the ingredients I'm giving you to cook this recipe, and you keep burning up the food in the kitchen, man. Man, dude, you're gonna get us all fired.
Matt Nagy is in the kitchen burning hot dogs right now, and it's like, hey,
yo,
man.
So last week we talked about wild things or crazy things or whatever I saw on Facebook.
Yeah,
I just came across something.
Oh boy!
If you got kids in the car, plug their ears.
So that's the story here in hell. Back to you guys in the booth.
This is a rough one. This is one of the. Now we talked about meatheads and meatballs or whatever you want to call them before. This one is harsh. This is not. The language ain't that bad, but this one ain't great. So this is. I literally just pulled up this up on Facebook. This is talking about a 5-1 team. You ready for this?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's run it.
We need Nagy to die in a fire, and Foles to tear an ACL. Get a real coach like Andy Reid who can work with the QB that took us to 12-4 2 years ago. If Nagy loves Foles so much, get off his knees and marry him already.
Whoa.
I cleaned that up towards the end.
Would that make you love me?
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say to that. I mean,
these are supposed to be fans of the team.
You're 5-1. Why are you jumping off the wagon?
Not even jumping off the wagon. I mean, that's
what
pushing,
are you switching?
That's pushing your coach and your QB off a cliff.
Yeah,
and into a volcano. I mean, come on.
This is typical meathead stuff, man.
And that's the problem. That's part of the problem here is because we got these guys right here. I mean, Bears fans are super critical, but we're also extremely loyal and just. You know, I mean, I read that just so y'all see how people are talking about our team out there, but this is wild.
No, man, that's way overboard, way overkill.
Yeah, that's a bit much for me, man.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, you know, guys, you know, girls, guys, Bears fans, I know you love the team. You want them to win, but at the end of the day, these are people. Yeah. You know what I mean? So Please watch what you're talking about out there.
And they're 5-1.
Exactly. I've never seen so many.
If they were 1-5, okay, I can see the criticism, but they're 5-1.
I mean, people are just so wild about this stuff, man.
Yeah. All right. What are your predictions for Monday Night Football against Jared Goff and the Rams?
Man, you know what? I got a slugfest on deck, man. That's going to be a slugfest, man. Kind of similar to how we got busy with them last year. Yeah, I predict a slugfest, man. I'm going to go 17-13. That's in our house too, right?
I believe so.
That game,
yeah, because we played them over there last year.
Yeah, so that game's in our house, man. 17-13. You know what? I'll go 20-13 Bears, man. Like
2013 Bears.
I got a feeling that the defense is going to come show up to Soldier Field with
they're playing in LA.
We're playing in LA.
Oh, so we are in the house. Okay. Well, we're going to get on the plane.
Yeah, we're playing in LA.
Going to get on the plane. Go out there, you know what I'm saying, to La La Land.
Nice weather.
You know, nice weather.
La, la, la.
You know, and same thing. 2013 Bears, man. Like,
ooh,
I'm not mad at it.
2013 Bears, man. I don't believe
even
Jared
the year
Goff,
that they went to the Super Bowl. It's not that they weren't that impressive, realistically.
No, they weren't.
Nah, the Rams are fool's gold, man. And anytime they get a solid defense, like a real smash mouth defense, and you know, there's no Ty Gurley. Those running backs are going to look pretty average, and you know, I believe our secondary and everybody's going to come to play, man. Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp and the rest of the gang, there's some solid guys over there, man. But I put the money on our guys up against theirs all the way.
I think Cooper Kupp is gonna get his cup's gonna be a little bit fuller when he meets our boy Kyle.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
Hey, man, Kyle Fuller is 2 for 2 the last 2 weeks, knocking dudes out of the game, man. So
man,
don't catch the ball over the middle around Kyle Fuller, man. He's lurking
That's
right
right.
now. He is lurking.
his confidence, I gotta say, has got to be at an all-time high.
Mm-hmm.
And on some Rod Woodson-esque type stuff, when he slows down a little bit and he no longer could flip his hips and backpedal, get out of his backpedal fast enough to stay at corner, you just move right over the strong safety and let him keep killing people.
Oh yeah.
There we go. All right, everybody. That's our Bears analyst, Il Brown.
Yes, sir.
Check him out every week on his Bears expertise with us. And don't forget to check out his podcast, Beat the Block, available on all major platforms. Thanks, Will.
All right, every time. Bear down.
All right,
All right, brother.
Meatheads, get out of here with that crap, man.
All right, everybody. Let's take a pause for the cause and hear a word from our sponsor.
Ceasar is the first anime manga company to feature characters of color, bringing a level of flair and authenticity to the genre as a whole. With influences ranging from Japanese manga and animation, Western comics, streetwear, hip-hop, and various forms of cinema, Noir has created a unique style that can be appreciated by the masses. Check out noircaesar.com for more information.
Welcome back to True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast with E-Roc and Big-Z. We would like to welcome a special guest to the show, the host of Being Guillen on La Vida Baseball, Ozzie Guillen Jr.
Yeah, what's up, Ozzie?
What's up, guys? Chilling. I love your backdrop there. I'm actually excited. The Bears won. They're 5-1. Even if people say that they're not for real, I'd rather take 5-1 than 1-5. So
That defense looked really good against the Panthers.
they did, and like people, I don't consider myself an expert on the sport, but they, 5-1, they look pretty solid. So I'm thinking playoff.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure Super Bowl yet, but I'm excited. I'm a Bears fan. I consider myself a meathead Bears fan. Every year I have them at 12 wins. So.
That's us too.
That's the most fun type of Bears fan, and we have to be careful that we are not those, because we have to be able to be critical of them sometimes too, which is hard.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's dive right into some White Sox baseball, man. Let me get your overall evaluation of how the boys perform in this short 60-game season.
You know what? I have to give them credit, because I was somebody that thought that they were going to play 500 baseball. I thought that they performed really, really well, got themselves into a playoff position. And I'm looking at the overall season. I think that the improvement that we saw on players at this point, I think, from Tim Anderson to being a very good player to starting to become an elite player. When I say an elite player, I'm talking about a guy that is flirting with the MVP on a consistent basis. I never thought that he could improve.
2 years in a row.
That he could improve from being a batting champion. He's actually a better hitter today than he was when he was a batting champion. Just on his approach on the plate and the way that, and his glove has improved so much. Again, Dylan Cease looked amazing in only his second year, and it was an overall good year. They missed out on the playoffs, meaning missed out winning the division. But I never had them winning the division, so to me it was not something that I was like, wow, they're going to do it. I was actually more surprised that they're actually leading it, but it was a good year for them.
Mm-hmm.
Again, a 60-game season. What's a 60-game season? I was very surprised for how it ended, meaning the moves that happened. But I think overall for the White Sox fans, it was a way better season than the years previous to it. And it was a good year for the White Sox, because had they missed the playoffs this year, even with the extended playoff roster, meaning more teams in the playoffs, that would have been very hurtful for them, because imagine not making the playoffs when everybody makes it pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it being such a tight season, and how they kind of came out of the gate, and they held the lead for quite a while. Now, full disclosure, I'm a Cubs fan. Z is a Sox fan, so that's how this podcast works, so we can actually be knowledgeable about each other's team.
That kind of makes sense. You know what? The Cubs are another team. I had David Ross, to me, is going to get votes for manager of the year. They were a team that people did not know what to expect. They got into the playoffs. Again, they couldn't hit, but they're in a good position. they actually performed to the level that I thought they would, but David Ross surprised me on how good of a manager he's going to become.
Agreed.
Yeah, we talked about that quite extensively because we weren't sure what to expect out of a guy who played with most of these players. But what I wanted to get to was that, being a Cubs fan, it's hard to admit, but I'll definitely say that at least this year, Tim Anderson was a better shortstop in the state.
Yes, hands down.
Yeah, and it's hard to say. You know what? I hate when guys are compared. Tim Anderson has become a better player this season. I think the talent level that Javi Baez has, that he's shown that he has in a 162-game season, Javi finished second in the MVP. Again, I don't want to take anything from anyone. Tim's a batting champion. Javi was a number 2 in MVP voting, but like Jose Abreu's MVP, it's a 60-game MVP. Like, it's cool, man, you got it. But to me, I mean, like when you're talking about like elite, do I think he's going to do it next year? Maybe for 60 games, but 162 is a way different monster. And I know people compare. Tim Anderson can win 25 batting titles. He'll never be a better defensive shortstop than Javi Baez.
Right. I mean, and you can look at Javi.
No, it's true.
And his physical skill as far as defense goes, you're going to be hard pressed to show me any defensive shortstop. Maybe Ozzie Smith that was as good.
I'm just saying, you know what? But Javi's just special because not only shortstop, and Ozzie and I have had this argument because when you look at Ozzie Guillen's numbers shortstop wise, they're just ridiculous analytics wise. Doesn't have the Gold Gloves to show for it, but very good at his position. He said that the hardest thing that Javi does, though, he was like, if I had to play second base or third base or be able to move around, I would be very concerned to how good I'd be. He says that Javi is just very talented wherever they put him defensive wise. So that's why he thinks that he's a special defensive player.
He's played third a handful of times too, and he's been very good over there too.
Correct.
He has the arm. He has the arm, and he has that like I don't know if it's that grit, that gut. I don't know what you want to call it, but I mean, he's just a baseball player.
He's just a natural guy.
Francisco Lindor comes to play short, and then Javi's going to go play third base or second base.
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, so let's move on. If you, Ozzie Guillen Jr., were the GM of the White Sox, how would you address the needs of this team? And what players would you be looking at to add or trade for?
I was going to say something smart. Am I the GM or am I the president of the team?
Ooh, shots fired.
I'm just saying though. No. I'm saying like, if is this a collective? People need to understand it's not shots at anyone. When you make when you're discussing things, even in the world of baseball, okay. I think the days of somebody making a solo decision, Jerry Jones NFL style.
Yes.
I think those days are far gone. I think that even when the White Sox did it back when we were there, it's always been a collective. You know, Jerry has a what he thinks is good. Then obviously Ozzie had an opinion, Rick and Kenny. And I think that's why you have someone like that. I can't even tell you who the White Sox assistant GM now, because to me, assistant GMs now are, unless you're the analytics guy, to me, you're like, okay, what do you do? Okay, cool. You're the assistant GM. Bring him his coffee.
It's kind of it's almost like the manager is the assistant GM.
Yeah, correct. So I think that the collective bargaining of a thought process is, in order for you to be successful, even if you're the only person that represents your organization or you're part of the team that represents your organization, you have to think about, where does the organization want to go? Why? When you think about organizations, you got to think about money. Okay. And what is the plan? Because if your plan is to go out and spend like crazy in the open market, okay, you better have that money to back that up. And if you sign younger players like the White Sox did, which I think is one of the best things they've done as a team, is then like, what pieces do you go out for? So I think that I don't like when people talk about this analytical thing, like it's analytics or nothing. I think that there's a mix of the conversation, and I think that there's got to be
it has to be a marriage.
There's got to be you're not going to go get somebody because you think that he's the best analytical player. You're going to go get the best guy because everyone in the room agrees that this is the kind of guy that you want to get. So I think as a general manager, I think that I would, if I was a general manager, depending on how long my contract was, I'm looking to win right now. Okay.
Right.
That's why in the 60-game season, I was surprised. I was happy that they didn't, you know, looking at it from the outside, they didn't give up any anybody because they didn't go get anybody. But then you start looking back and saying, what happened if they had made a move for a guy mid-year? Again, that's a what-if thing. But the playoffs are not guaranteed next year. So I think for the White Sox, it's like, how do we build to that, building a better 162 games team? So I would address some of the things that I don't think – I need to decide on players, what do I really think about them? Are they the answer? And if they're not, I need to move on from them.
Are there any specific players that you would target in free agency?
Right now?
Yeah.
Even though the White Sox hit a lot, I think the guy like Springer, regardless of what you think about him.
Yes.
I think a left-handed right fielder, I think it might be a good fit for the team. Again, you don't want to overpay. There's a pitcher named Odorsey that pitches for the Minnesota Twins. I think that he fit very nicely in a rotation like the White Sox. You look at teams and you have to decide, okay, like, are we looking to build a pitching staff that's going to go 5 to 6 innings and then we're going to go bullpen? Then I might go get a guy like Dylan Betances, okay, to help out.
Okay. Or
am I going to look for an elite pitcher? I think that I know everyone wants Trevor Bauer. He's super fun on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And YouTube, he's really good at what he does. Depending on how much money he was, Trevor's done it for a 60-game season and then a little bit longer. I think that he's the guy that everyone thinks that they should go get. I think it's all based on money. Again, you want have a guy like that talented. The scary part is when you don't get the main guy and then you go spend crazy money on a guy like Michael Stroman. A guy that's like, okay, yeah, you're great, but like you're great because you're a Major League Baseball pitcher, but you're not.
But you're not on a league. Yeah, you paid $8 million for a B player.
Correct. I think that the hardest thing for them right now, from an analysis standpoint, is because they have so much talent. When you look at Dylan DeCease throw the ball, Michael Kopech throw the ball, Ronaldo Lopez throw the ball, now Crochet throw the ball, you see so many so much potential greatness that you're like, do I really need to go spend $30 million a year for a guy that maybe Cease can become? Okay. So I think that's the hard decision.
Wouldn't you consider that a pretty big maybe?
I think Cease, Rodon.
Everything. I wouldn't count
Rodon. You got Keuchel.
I wouldn't count Rodon in there. Keuchel's a veteran. He's going to be there. Maybe you get a guy like Keuchel. But I'm saying I don't think if you make the moves for those guys, you got to ride with those guys. I think that the biggest mistake in that game was not giving the ball to either Dunning or Cease and see what they had. They get shelled. You say, okay, they're rookies. You know, they're grooming themselves into there. If they don't get shelled, and they pitch an amazing game. Charlie Morton. By the way, everyone's on Tampa. Charlie Morton couldn't get an out when he was a rookie. Literally couldn't get an out. Now he's in Tampa and he's like, this super stud. But I think that that's what you do. You build your own guys. You give them confidence. You take them to that next level. It's funny when people say that, like, when Ozzie took over in 2004, Mark Burley was a guy who went to an All-Star game. John Garland was a cool cat, but those guys didn't have crazy credentials. It's after Ozzie comes here that those guys became, 18-game winners, meaning that they did it in the postseason. Freddie Garcia already had a resume. Contreras, obviously, everybody knew what he had done in Cuba. Duque, just Google him and his success. But it was a confidence of, like, how do you graduate to the next level? I really feel that the White Sox have a couple arms that they can graduate to the next level. Maybe that pitching change situation, who's in charge of pitching, might be the reason that they might figure these guys to develop forward. Them. And you only develop pitching by having them go and do it.
All right, so let's move on from that. And I'm glad you were talking about pitching because what do you think was the final straw that broke the camel's back on the quote-unquote mutual my co-host we're going to say it what it is. It was a firing of Renteria and Cooper. Whatever they want to put on the press releases, whatever they want to put, but it is a firing of Renteria and Cooper.
You know what? Do you want to say like what my personal take is on what broke the camel's back?
Yes. We want to hear from you.
No, I'm just saying for me, I'm going to say this. And again, nothing personal against Rick Renteria. I think that he's an amazing human being. One of the things that I always thought was ironic was, and I feel bad for him now, is the White Sox would go to bat for him every single second. They would remind us that he was the guy. He'd be losing 100 games and they would tell us how amazing he was. For me as a baseball person, I was like, I don't see it. Okay, this is why I don't see it. Yeah. When he was managing the first year, I had a certain amount of expectations about in-game knowledge. Okay.
Okay.
And it was very, very low. And then the second year came and it was still not improving by 1%. Where he was currently sitting at as a manager, I thought his game knowledge for as many years as he had in the big leagues was below average. Okay. It was actually
so basically
it was actually a detriment.
What you're saying is that he's the Mitch Trubisky of baseball managers.
Again, Mitch Trubisky is not his fault. They drafted him, so good for Mitch. If that's on the scouting
what I'm
team.
saying is that you expected progression as the time went on. And
so when I see David Ross managing the first year, everybody's like, "Oh, you're giving him the benefit." I was like, "Hey, he's a first year manager. Like even if he played in the big leagues, like it's his first year." So I thought that he handled the bullpen very well. Like I thought that he moved guys in a very hard situation, like the Ket Kimbrel. Like man, the guy played with him. You know how hard it is to tell your friend, "Hey, dude, you suck. Give me the ball." It's those are things as a manager that are very hard to. That's very hard to do. Ricky, though, things kept happening of like Ricky's boys don't quit, and then guys wouldn't run, and then it's like, oh, is Ricky holding them accountable?
Yeah.
The only person he would hold accountable was Moncada, but he wouldn't hold other guys accountable. He would hold Ronaldo Lopez accountable, but he wouldn't hold anybody else accountable. He would take out a guy in a great game, you know, with one out to get a quality start, and then he would take him out, and then the guy would lose a game. But then if a guy was getting shelled, he would leave him in the game. You bring rookies to like debut in like a high leverage situation. So there was things that you, as a manager, that you're like, man, this is. And then he would say things like, "Oh, I don't believe in the numbers," and it's like, "Well, I thought you were there because you like the numbers." So it was just very confusing. Analytics. And I know people said it, and I'm going to say, it, baseball players are always going to say we like our manager. Okay, they're always going to say that.
Yeah,
they're never going to talk about how they truly feel unless the stuff is like really, really bad. So I think that at the end of the day, I think that's what got exposed. And then they saw that he wasn't the right guy. You finally brought a veteran in like Dallas Keuchel and Jasmani Grandal that might have been pressing some concerns of, I don't know if this guy's ready for it. I'll tell you guys, you guys think this is going to be funny and people are going to be like, this is Ozzie's so stupid. So did you guys watch him manage the last game? Like not move, just how he physically looked?
Yes.
Okay, so he was like this. I have to do it. I have to show you in the video.
Yeah.
He was managing like this.
This is awesome.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
On the top step.
Yeah, he's squatting.
Okay. This is the guy that in the last series in Cleveland was hiding behind the batter's rack the whole season and was pulling I call it the Joe Torre. Joe Torre never moved. He just sit there.
Yep.
You know, that was a standard move. Ozzie sat in the little area there in the little bench with his towel. You know, exactly. You got Aaron Boone does the thing. You know, he's up there. He watches with one step down. Bobby Cox would do the same thing. Yes. So every manager has a style, okay? And no style is wrong, okay? But players know what your style is. When you're on the top step with your hands on your knees and you've never done that all year long, you're like, what's up with this dude? You're panicking
mode.
Like this dude is panicking.
He's in panic mode.
It's
correct.
There's no decisiveness in what he does.
Correct. No. So for me, I was like looking at it from like an outside, like if I was sitting in the clubhouse in the dugout in that moment, what I would think guys would be saying, I would be like, this guy is losing it right now. And he got kicked out in a couple big, people don't realize this. So like one of the things that makes me mad is people think that Ozzie's crazy. So I kept tweeting about like the numbers of ejections. I think there's a time and place for ejections. Maybe the first one was okay, but you can't get kicked out the second game. You're in a really, really big game. You know, even though we don't think you're a great manager to some fans and Super Joe might have been a better option, as a team, we still need you there. So I think that there was a combination of everything. I just feel bad for him because I literally felt like he thought, I think that if he would have known that his job was on the line, he would have been more aggressive during press conferences. I think that I feel bad because I feel like he thought that if he said everything that was supposed to be said, that he would not get fired. And at the end of the day, he got fired.
Well,
how do you not see that?
Yeah. I mean,
dude, like you were saying, your job. If your boss tells you every day, hey man, you're doing amazing. No. Just keep doing what you're doing. And by the way, this guy knows he's the only other Latino manager other than Ozzie. And they're like, well, Ozzie Guillen's not here. He's at a World Series ring. So I can't go out and be crazy and say what I really feel because they're definitely going to fire me. At the end of the day, you still got fired.
Bro, at the end of the day, you have to do the job to the best of your ability, whether your boss says this or that.
And they lost the players like you. They sent Danny Mendick down, and there was no more dancing. That's when it was all done.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the thing is that
no more dubs.
Look at the stats. They send those guys down, and it was weird. They again, there's things that you look at, but you know, he's a great guy. I think that he's going to make a great coach somewhere. I'm surprised they didn't leave him on the staff as a coach. I don't even know if they offered it to him.
Would you stay after they fired you as a manager though?
Ozzie Guillen Jr. How am I financially?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing though. Like, I feel like when they got him on the White Sox, he was, and it's hard not to see it this way for as far as his perspective. But how do you not know that you're just kind of the warm up guy? You're the trainer. You're not the guy that's going to be leading.
And I think he knew that though. I think there's a part of me that knows
that's what
that
I'm
because
saying.
I think there's a part of me that he was like. So I think it's funny because he got a ring from the Cubs, right?
Yes.
I would never
they
wear
get
that.
him
By the way, I would never wear that. If I was I would never wear it. I'd have it there.
You wouldn't, or he shouldn't.
He shouldn't. That's what I'm saying though. But like maybe there's a part of him that he's like he knew that. But that's what I mean though. I mean like the way that they were approaching it. Okay, from a sell standpoint, they reminded us every single day. This is the guy. Okay, like literally every day. Like they would remind us like we have the manager, and not just like hey go manage. Right. Like and talk about development. It was like no, Ricky's our guy. And I think that's Ricky's the part where fans were confused because had they just let him manage, and the Cubs did it. The Cubs started rebuilding like with Dale Swate. The Cubs, they weren't. Jim Henry was not coming down every day and saying he's our guy. We're going to win a World Series with him. It's like no, he's the manager. They didn't do that even with Ozzie. When Ozzie took over in 2004, they didn't tell Kenny didn't jump on the TV every single 5 minutes and say this is the guy's going to take us to a World Series. He was just like no, he's the new manager and that's it. So I feel like that's the part where people were confused. Again, now looking back at it, maybe they were overselling him because they always knew that he wasn't the guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were just gassing him up. I mean, so now we're thinking about managers now. So now that we kind of got that little appetizer out of the way with some of the stuff that we already did, let's get to some of the meat and potatoes. What did you watch that the White Sox press conference?
I did. I watched all. I did because I already knew that the call had already been made. Okay, to Ozzie.
Yeah.
So I knew it. I wanted to see if it was going to be addressed, at what point it was going to be addressed. Again, it was the Chicago media is just so soft. They're like Charmin. It's just hilarious. They ask
I love it.
They don't ask the hard questions, and it's okay. Like I'm part of it. Again, I would never be in that room because I think I make everyone feel really awkward, and they would take it from a point of not professionalism, but this kid's just being a bitter guy, even though I'm 36 with 2 kids. I think that it was confusing because I think that as Ozzie's son, I appreciate that the fact they said that he wasn't in the running from the beginning. Okay. Rip the Band-Aid off. It's what it is. We've already made our peace with it. It's okay. Okay.
Because we've been watching this. We've been seeing fans clamor, bring back Ozzie, bring back Ozzie, bring back Ozzie.
Yeah, but even from a fan's perspective point, there's a couple of things that people don't realize. Number one, some idiot wrote, it's because of Ozzie and the Cuban thing. And I said, I bet Ozzie was texting more with Joan Moncada and Jose Abreu than texting, not seeing him in the stadium.
Ricky was, yes.
Than Ricky, because there's a personal relationship. We're very close to certain guys on the team because of religious purposes, because of friendships that we've had from the past, just because we want to wish those guys really well. Everybody knows that we support PA in anything that he does. Just like we do guys in the Cubs from like a charity standpoint. So there's actually a really great relationship because Ozzie's gotten a chance to meet some of these guys and it's been really cool. So that one's out of the question. I think as a baseball man, okay, when you ask me if I was the general manager, okay, when Ozzie interviewed here in 2003, he wasn't the number one candidate for the position.
No, he wasn't.
If anyone says that he was, they're full of it. It was Cito Gaston.
No, he wasn't.
Cito Gaston was the guy, and that's okay. Ozzie's in the right position, the right place at the right time. Jet McKeon is promoting Ozzie. We're whooping up on the Cubs. The Marlins, it was like the right time. Ozzie goes to the interview and just lays it out on the table, okay?
Wait. Wasn't he hungover?
Well, he was hungover. Like, people think it's like a bad thing to say that. He just got done celebrating his first World Series ever.
Right.
So he has the interview, and he was like, and this is the part to understand, Ozzie took the interview because my mom was like, hey, you got to go there. But at that time, he was so disconnected from the White Sox, like emotional-wise, because of everything that had happened in the past for him as a player, that he knew when Jack McKeon was done managing that he was going to be the Marlins manager. So he was just like, I'm just chilling. Okay. Like Jack was like, everybody knew that was like the transition because Ozzie managed that Marlins team Jack was there, did the PR stuff, but like with the players, Ozzie had been there from spring training. He was the whip, and Jack and him worked together. Jack McKeon signed Ozzie.
Okay.
So it was a very good combination. So Jack McKeon mentored Ozzie. So everybody knew that if Ozzie doesn't get this job, he's probably the next Marlins manager, because we didn't know how long Jack would be around. And he loved being the third base coach for Jack. You know, you're learning so much. Like, Jack had just gone there. So it was a good situation for him. And he was at the time living in Miami. So he gets the interview and he blows Kenny away. Okay. He blows Kenny away. You guys can look at the 2005 World Series videos when people used to talk positively about Ozzie and everything they said about him when he was the genius of baseball. Okay.
Right.
Because Ozzie came in and said, I'm a winner. I've just came and won. I've been running spring training. And a lot of the good thing is, and I'm very grateful for that, a lot of people vouch for Ozzie from guys like Bobby Cox, Jack McKeon, Jeff Torborg, rest in peace, Jim Fregosi, guys that had seen Ozzie in different facets. He coached against him. Joe Torre gave a good review that they were like, man, no, this kid's ready. Like, this kid's legit. So he wins the spot and Ozzie wins it. Okay. Regardless of what your opinion was of Ozzie, things that transpired off the field, meaning when he was at the White Sox, because it wasn't all perfect and things that got a little personal and whatnot, Ozzie on the field was very good. Okay. Even though White Sox fans don't think so, look at the stats. We beat the Pacoda predictions every single year. Him and Kenny were very, very good combo. Okay. Ozzie's whole thing when he was there, okay, about analytics were very new at the time. Okay. Ozzie did not like the numbers that he would get. Okay. He would say some of these numbers are meaning, well, I'm saying like
based on experience.
Not only based on experience. Okay. The analytics were newer. Okay. And also, just because you have numbers doesn't mean that they're the right numbers. Okay. So in a few words, Ozzie thought that the White Sox scouting report back in the day were not very good compared to what he had seen with the Marlins.
Okay.
With other teams.
Okay.
And he
more on the department rather than numbers that were actually being
correct. And that wasn't a knock, because again, people don't realize this. Kenny doesn't do this. Kenny's the boss. Okay. So it was more on a knock on like, this is BS. So but that type of friction would make the work very good. But Ozzie always loved the numbers. They always used them. The department would, you could say that he would force them, okay, to like work, be better. Like, okay, you want Carlos Quentin to lead off, but why? Explain it to me. Convince me. And if you convince me, I will make him, I will hit him there. So
until he punches the bat. Correct.
So I think that it was a very good, as hostile as it was with so much testosterone, it was a very good give and take. Okay. Every day. I think Kenny Williams is very underrated baseball wise. I think he's a very, very smart baseball man and a great player developer. He knows his stuff. Okay. And Rick's very good with money. Very good team. Things happen. Ozzie wanted to get paid. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why he leaves. It's a money situation. I think for this situation, though, the fact that you wouldn't interview him again to see if he can convince you again, that's the part that I'm like, why didn't they do that? That's the part that it makes me like think like, if I had a guy that I was successful with, Steve Jobs with Apple, I'm like, I'm bringing back the guy, not to hire him, at least to sit down and say, you need to convince me why you need to come back.
Or why you should, like, let us know what tell us, give us an idea of why you should, or why why, so we can at least give you an idea why you shouldn't come back. So you're not just sitting there wondering.
I'll give you a perfect example, man. If Ozzie goes into the interview, and we've been preparing Ozzie, and he believes it. If Ozzie walked into the interview and they asked him about, what do you think about shifting and platooning and spin rate? And he's like, that's all BS. It's not real, and it's done. I'd say, thank you, Ozzie. You can see yourself out the door. And that's okay.
Right.
But Ozzie has a plan. Like, we have a plan from like when the meetings would be held, like the number of coaches that would be in what position in order to analyze the analytics. We would compare the analytics to other analytics departments that we've been around and like worked with and see what they have and kind of shared. So there's a plan. And it's like, we really believe that there's the power of knowledge and then the power of like experience and bringing them both together. So that's the part
there's got to be a merit. There's got to be a merit in those two things. And that's got to be the
situation, I think, again, the candidates that they've brought. So the part of and we lost track of that, the part that was very surprising about the press conference was the words that were used. Maybe they were the wrong words, but they used the words, we want a manager that has won in this time. okay, what's time? What consists of recent?
In what time frame?
Correct.
Right. There was no time frame.
Well, because there's only two guys that are available at the moment. Again.
Right.
So you say that, and then a week, not even a week, like 2 days later, Tony's number one candidate.
Yeah. All right, y'all. We're going to take a quick break here, and we'll be right back.
The True Chicago Sports Fans podcast will return after a brief message from our sponsors. But don't forget to tune in next week to part 2 of our exclusive interview with La Vida Baseball's own
Ozzie Guillen Jr.
Ozzie Guillen Jr. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fans podcast with E-Roc and Big-Z.
Mm-hmm.
It's that time again.
Oh, boy.
You know what time it is, brother. It's time for Stirring the Pot, brother.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got today, man? What do you got?
I got something near and dear to my heart.
Oh, boy.
You know, I just started a new gig.
Yes, you did.
I won't go that in-depth into it.
Something to do with... Never mind. I was going to say something.
Don't say nothing. Anyway, I got two of my compadres at my new trabajo.
Oh, look at you. Bilingual.
Si, senor. And they have a very strong affinity for apples.
What kind of apples? Like green apples, red apples, gala apples? Like what kind of apples?
Apples, man.
Washington apples?
Washington, California, Illinois, wherever they can get apples. So here's my question to you.
Yes, sir.
Apples, yes or no?
Yeah, man. Come on, look. You put them in the taffy and you put the peanuts on it. All day, every day, taffy apples, baby.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
That's like the most boring fruit. It's like the one, like...
apple pie, apple cider, apple donuts. Come on, man. It's the season.
Yeah, okay. Take back apple sauce, Apple Jacks. Man, get that mess out of here.
Apple Jacks? Oh, hell yeah. Give me the Apple Jacks. Apple sauce you can have. I don't care about apple juice? Yes.
Apple juice, Apple Jacks, apple sauce, whatever, man. Get out of here.
Apple rings, instead of the peach rings, give me the apple rings.
Get out of here. It's so boring.
Nah, come on, man.
It's so boring.
No, man.
Get out of here.
How about them apples, baby?
Oh, man. Come on. Oh, my goodness.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
I know I'm going to win this one. I know the fans are going to side with me this time.
Whatever, man. The most boring fruit you could possibly find. Give me some mango or something, bro.
Oh, see, now you're appealing to my Caribbean side.
That's okay. Mike, okay. We're going to share that side. But that's my point. It's like, hi, can I have an apple, please? Like, oh, yes, you just told me how boring you are.
Hey, man, I still like apple pie, though.
Apple pie is fine, but it's got to have a lot of sugar and cinnamon.
That's some ice cream.
See, look how many things you got to use to mask that apple, bro.
This is cinnamon ice cream.
That's terrible.
Whatever, brother.
All right, y'all.
Let's wrap this up. Let's get out of here.
That's it for today. Thank you for listening. Shout out to our sponsors, Noir, Ceasar, Villain Radio Studios, and Grit Clothing Company.
Get your shirts.
Don't forget to check out gritclothingco.com and use our promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off your entire order. Thanks to our Bears analyst, Il Brown. Don't forget to check out his podcast, Beat the Block, which is available on all major platforms. Shout out to Ronesh, our producer, Jay Soto. Shout out to Mike Logic and Ideal from the All Net podcast. They're going to be taking a break, but they'll be back when the NBA is back in action. And a big shout out to our special guest, Ozzie Guillen Jr.
Yes, sir.
Don't forget to check back next week for part 2 of our interview with one of the stars of Being Guillen on lavidabaseball.com. And don't forget to check us out on social media. You can find us at True Chi Fans on Twitter. That's True CHI Fans. And we're on TikTok. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and reach out to us on our email. We want to hear from you guys. Reach us at truechicagosportsfans@gmail.com. And until next time, be good to each other.
For the love of sports.
Yeah.
I'm a man.
Full grown man.
How about them apples?
A few moments later.
You have a lot of incest.
That's real.
Shut your mouth.
Lover boy.
Nature versus nurture, Lodge. Nature always wins. I think he's on steroids.
Hasta luego, amigos. Show's over, show's over, show's over.